Hi, this is Kirby Sommers, and I welcome you to my true crime podcast. It's been at least a week, if not more, since the last time I was able to record one of these. And, everything is working again. Very peculiar. I think I had a little interference because sometimes I believe the information that I share with you is a tad too close for those people who would rather I say nothing. In any event, I'm back. And before I get started, I want you to like the video, and subscribe. All right. Well, I've got a lot to sort of catch up with, but we don't have all day. So I'm going to do a little one. I speak to, yes, so like former CIA agents, current CIA agents, people who don't want to be identified, who work with the intelligence agencies, and other people who are connected very closely with the various people historically and who are part of an ongoing and interlocking series of crimes. It's not just, let's say, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell child trafficking network. That's connected to many other things. Those of you who are subscribers to my Epstein Project newsletter and who read the latest drop, which was yesterday. And by the way, I'll keep sending out yesterday's because it's an important one, at least for another day or two. And really, if you're not a member of that, you should become a member. I can't say everything on Twitter. I can't do that because I won't have a Twitter account. And I can't say everything here on YouTube, or I won't have a YouTube account. So what I can't say or share with you on those platforms or even on my Patreon, I do it through my newsletter. So that's really your safest bet because that goes out and nobody can censor me there. In this newsletter, I shared that Stephen Hoffenberg, who was recently deceased, was friendly with a certain president who was connected to a certain drug trafficking situation and was connected to several other people. Well, these trafficking operations, and let's call, I guess I can say Iran-Contra because you're familiar with that. It's more than just a drug trafficking thing. There's always trafficking of another nature involved that's never discussed. And I don't know that I can get into this any more than I am or what I've said just now. And if that's too opaque with you, really read my newsletter. In any event, one of the things among many of the things that I became aware of during my recent conversation, we're just going to call this man, I don't know what to call him. I will say that he knows and knew Ted Gunderson, so maybe that will suffice for the time being. He basically told me that he has access to a video recording that was taken on August the 10th, 2019, and it shows Jeffrey Epstein being sort of put to rest, if you will. He went on to inform me that he had given a copy of this to a journalist. In my Twitter, I described basically I went ahead and I gave everybody the name of the journalist and also of the publication. I'm not going to do it here on my YouTube thing. However, the journalist came back and it was a very weak, no, that didn't happen. Well, you know what? I tend to believe someone who's been in the CIA since, he was a teenager and has been in the CIA and been punished, not punished, been connected to a lot of historical situations. I'm going to believe him over this guy who sounded like, he was protesting a tad too much. So, although many of us have gone back and forth on whether or not Jeffrey Epstein did kill himself or was he murdered, the fact of the matter is that I now believe 100% without a shadow of a doubt, and no, I don't have a copy of the video, that he was in fact murdered, because I believe this source. This is the kind of source anyone would love to have. I'm not going to name the source, but the source exists. The journalist for this newspaper, which has been around for a long time, not he, but the newspaper, apparently chased after him because he would know everything about Epstein. Here's the thing. Mainstream media is working very hard in attempting to get people to move on, forget Epstein ever happened, and even say that, oh, we looked. I know Adam Davidson wrote a couple of tweets that I was really very annoyed with, and many of you were too, saying, oh, Jeffrey Epstein was not a spy. You know how we know? We looked. Really? You looked? Well, I think what you're doing is you're just part of a cover-up. And I had no problem saying that to Adam Davidson, nor will I have a problem saying it to his face were he and I ever to sit down face to face. So that's what's going on. There's an obvious cover-up. Epstein definitely was part of the CIA. Every single time I send out a newsletter, it's always circles back to, with receipts, to the fact that Epstein was intelligence. Okay. And so recently, after I disclosed that there is a tape of Jeffrey Epstein being murdered in the jail, all right, there have been a couple of odd tweets coming across my thread. And basically they're saying, oh, Jeffrey Epstein is old news. Well, I'm going to say this. I suspect this is coming from one of these rooms that are run by intelligence agencies, where they have maybe 40 people creating sock puppet accounts to try to change what you're thinking about, to influence your thoughts, to distract you, because that happens. And there you could just, even on Google, although I say never Google, you could find this information that easily on Google. And many of you are so wise to this that I see some of you saying, oh, I'm blocking you, you're a troll. But there are a few exceptions. There are a few people who are on the fence for whatever the reason, and these people are easily swayed. I don't want people who are easily swayed really following me, because this is an important story. This story, and I'm going to, for a second, call it the Jeffrey Epstein story, is a story that connects many historical unsolved crimes that go back long even before John F. Kennedy's murder, and which continue to present day. These are interconnected. The people are interwoven. When I talk to you about different trafficking rings, I always liken it to a tree with a lot of roots below that tree. And I tell you all the time that they're all connected. So are these massive crimes. For example, I started a new thing on Twitter. It's called my group thing, and it's people getting together that wish to help solve a crime. What I did the other day is, because Edmund Safra is in Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book, although they misspelled his name, he was murdered. He lived in Monaco. He was a banker, very very well respected banker, but also a very shady banker. He lived in Monaco, and what they say about Monaco is that it's a sunny place for shady people. Um, I suspect that the reason Prince Albert was ensnared in the trafficking ring that Jeffrey Epstein was connected to was in order to influence and subdue the actual investigation into who killed Edmund Safra. That's my theory on it. And so I have a bunch of people, I think it's about 20 people, who are now part of this group, and they put together the information that I have told them to get, and they've got all kinds of tips on how to find information, what it is you should look for in order to see, well, who killed Edmund Safra? So, but the reason I bring this up, and by the way, if you want to join, it's an open thing. It's on my Twitter. You can find it. And I will be adding other names to this. And I like this way. This way, anyone can join, anyone can participate. It's all connected on one thread. It is important to know that Epstein is sort of like the glue, or maybe let's call him the curtain from which that we can sort of look behind and see things that up until his arrest were unseen by many of you. There are like it's like the major things that have happened. And so just for as an example, the October surprise, right? Iran-Contra, the death of Danny Casolaro, the BCCI scandal, all of the things that Danny Casolaro was working on, and then some that happened afterwards. And by the way, these connect to the attorneys that are, quote, representing the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, which include John Stanley Pottinger, it includes David Boies, and it includes Bradley Edwards. All of these people, and even like I said earlier, Stephen Hoffenberg. Hoffenberg knew everyone. But did he, during the time that he was making the rounds on other people's podcasts, did he reveal that? No. I think that what he really did was he talked about what was in mainstream media. And he forgot to mention that, hey, he knew Bill Clinton during his days at in Arkansas as the governor, during the MENA days, during all of that, he knew him. And in fact, it's my understanding that that is how Jeffrey Epstein met him. Not to say that Epstein didn't have his own set of powerful people that sort of he combined along with the powerful people that Hoffenberg brought to the table. There's so much that I really want to share with you, but this is the first podcast that I do after being away for a week or over a week. So I'm going to say, if you have questions, leave them below and like the video, subscribe. I'm trying to find, there it is. Okay, you see, it takes a while to get the gist of this again. I've missed you guys and I've missed doing my podcast. So I'm really happy to be back. All right, have a really good day. Talk soon. Bye.